my god, and this was the point of the video where I really thought Sunny V2 messed it up. Probably one of the worst Sunny V2 videos of all time. I think Sunny V2 has officially made things a lot worse for Mr. Beast and, of course, Chris. Let's talk about why that is.
The Chris Tyson situation could become a complete disaster for Mr. Beast's brand.
Okay, not at all, but let's continue.
However, it may also provide some unique benefits. So let's begin by going over the drama before explaining exactly how this will impact the Mr. Beast channel.
So, starts out the video saying the drama. I don't think someone transitioning is called drama. That's just a very normal thing that people do. But this video has taken the narrative that it is drama for someone to become trans. So let's see what happens.
In mid-2022, fans began to notice that Chris Tyson was changing. In the early days, he represented the quintessential southern gun and truck-loving dude. Yet beginning in March 2022, Chris began to display increasingly feminine traits.
Increasingly feminine traits while zooming in on painting your nails. I don't think that's considered a feminine trait. Like, literally anyone can do that and it's okay. So I don't know why that narrative's out there.
Making tweets such as, "I finally got my nails done at a nail tech." Additionally, Chris would highlight that his facial appearance had changed significantly since the start of the pandemic, which accompanied another post reading, "Okay, so in 4 different customs I had to prove I was myself because I, quote, look nothing like my passport pic, so much that I'm considering updating my passport. Do you see any resemblance?" Prompting replies such as, "You went from man to boy." Chris responded by stating, "Nah, to be honest, I just really started taking my mental health seriously and eating better," yet his Twitter photos kept insinuating that Chris was becoming more feminine, with this same kind of look showing up in his Mr. Beast appearances. For example, on the 6th of January 2023, Beast Reacts uploaded a video titled "I strapped a GoPro to a fish," in which Chris dressed in a way that prompted comments such as, "Chris has been adopted."
Okay, but a lot of these people are terminally online people, and whether they are constant Mr. Beast watchers or not, they're clearly not adept to seeing people of all walks of life and have only seen the, you know, straight white male or straight person that they're used to seeing, and has been wearing horse blinders and has never seen a trans person in their life. So
more traits that remind me of my grandmother. Okay, so some people just gonna ignore Chris's nails? Chris had to have lost a bet. The look is getting wild. The response to the video then prompted countless viral TikToks, such as this one with 700,000 likes.
And that is, of course, the very best place you can go for things like this. TikTok will chew this right up and spin, of course, the most insane narrative possible. So I'm sure that made things even worse.
How did Chris go from this to this? While others even made the claim that Carl had turned him gay. Now, this was pretty...
What? How does that even make any sense? What is happening here? This is the most, like, non-researched video possible. Now, yeah, me sitting here, I haven't done much research myself, but what I do know is that someone making the transition is a very normal thing. So it seems a little bit odd, the narrative that's going on in this video, but let's continue.
Pretty ridiculous, as Carl isn't even that feminine, and Chris had come out as bisexual years before he and Carl had even met. The true catalyst for Chris Tyson's feminization instead seemed to have come from his marriage.
What? How does that even make any sense? Okay, look, I used to watch Sunny V2 a lot, and I never really, until this video, started to see how insane it is that you can watch a video with this, like, I don't know, horror music in the back, and then just hear the voice and not even think twice. Like, no way. His wife made him more feminine? What?
In January 2022, Chris would post a photo with his wife to his Instagram, yet after this, the family photo stopped altogether. Fans also noticed that he'd removed his wedding ring, with the ring's absence correlating perfectly with the very first post in which he'd painted his nails. Chris confirmed the split in a post from March 2023 reading, "For a little over a year now, me and Katie have been separated," with this also confirming that Chris's transformation began as soon as his marriage came to an end. Chris went from lighting campfires and raising a family.
Now, another thing you have to take into consideration is that the average Mr. Beast watcher is not like 30, even like in their 20s. There's some very young people, and through the very young people, there are still some older people that will still have some very bad takes. That does not take away from the fact that people will make bad takes regardless.
Family with his beautiful wife to now trying to be a wife with his man buns and long nails. As the criticism continued to
Dude, and if you're getting your information from a YouTube comment section, that is like the most terminally online, unhinged idiot.
pile, Chris announced that he'd be taking a break from social media. And while there was a possibility that Chris would make efforts to return to his former self, he'd rather do the opposite and double down on his feminine image, showing up to the Kids' Choice Awards looking like this.
Okay, and what are you gonna say about that?
Before making the announcement that he'd been doing HRT for approximately 2 months, which according to a quick Google search is the
If you had to Google search what HRT is, hey, I don't think you should be talking about someone going through this transition, right? Did he really Google what HRT is?
the medical process for changing genders. Chris would expand on this by stating, "Informed consent HRT saved my and many others' lives. The hurdles GNC people have to jump through to get life-saving gender-affirming healthcare in a first world country is wild to me. Just let people make informed decisions about their own bodies," which received a positive response from both Carl and Mr. Beast, who wrote, "Got you, I did one more heart than Carl because I'm a better friend." While his co-workers expressed positivity, others weren't so welcoming. There goes a father figure the kid won't ever
Life with Evan. Yeah, that's a real good person to get a take from. And their take is, there goes a father figure who a kid won't be able to look up to. Hey, I don't think that's going to be a problem at all. At all.
be able to look up to. Hard times create strong men create good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times.
This is like that false masculinity bullshit on the internet. It's like big, strong men. Let people be who they want to be. It's not hard, man.
Chris responded to this comment by stating, "This is just more dog whistling that somehow trans and GNC folks aren't safe around kids. Tucker begs for me to come back when I leave for like 2 days to film. He is so loved and happy. Kids aren't born with hate, it's taught by people like you, and my child will only know love. I know I'm going to be a great parent, and so is every other person who puts the love of their child before everything. I made this decision because I wanted to show up as my best and happiest self for him. In a way, this was for Tucker." Chris's response received some positivity such as, "I'm convinced you're an amazing father. Tucker is lucky to have you and also lucky to have all of those who surround and support you in his life, as well as I adore that. I'm glad you made that decision. It's so much easier to be a parental figure when you're not struggling with
Another thing to take into consideration here is, given the size of Mr. Beast's audience, which also is a part of Chris's audience, and Carl and everyone else involved with the Mr. Beast crew, it is possibly one of the largest crowds on the internet. And having said that, you're going to get takes out of left field. And unfortunately, in this case, there are going to be less positive takes on this than there are going to be negative takes, because people know that they're going to get the attention that they want by making a negative take, and they're going to turn some heads that way. So that is the most profitable way to make a take, is to spin a bad narrative on someone, going through this.
dysphoria, yet he'd also receive an equal amount of backlash. You ripped apart your family and took a father figure away from your son just so you could paint your nails and act zesty. Pathetic.
And act zesty. A lot of these people are insecure about themselves, which is precisely why they'll comment this, and they have no confidence in themselves. So I don't know what this whole act zesty thing is. It's not, no.
He will get torn apart at school, won't want to have friends around his house, a life full of difference and being alone. Must have missed the point in that tweet. How's this for him when you're depriving him of a father figure? Although Chris wasn't altered by these comments, as he'd once again reiterate his certainty in a new post reading, "It's never too late to start being yourself," which received praise from Mr. Beast as well as Nolan and Carl. However, these comments also added extra fuel to the fire. In a few years, look back at this thread and remember they were never your friends. Only yes men cowards. Hope you come out of this safe.
Oh my goodness.
Mr. Beast responded to this with a simple opinion irrelevant ratio, to which the original commenter would state, "I have 30 followers, so go ahead and ratio me. I'll still rest easy knowing that I'm not a coward who idly sits."
Dude, this is Twitter. This is Twitter. So the fact that this is in a Sunny V2 video showing a single Twitter comment doesn't do anything. This does not do anything other than make things a lot worse for people. This is Twitter. People are so unhinged on Twitter.
By watching my friend ruin his own life. In some ways, it was nice to see the boys standing up for Chris on Twitter. However, the situation has already begun to change the dynamic with it.
Yeah, and look at this. Look at the dislikes on the Sunny V2 video. 145,000 dislikes. If that doesn't say anything, I don't know what does.
Videos. For example, in a recent live stream titled Opening 1,000 Mystery Art Boxes, Chris would once again dress in quite a feminine way, and while everybody participated as usual, the energy and vibe didn't feel nearly as smooth as it normally does. It felt as though there was an unaddressed elephant in the room, and therefore everybody was in their head, as opposed to being in the present moment enjoying each other's company. Maybe everybody was simply too busy opening packages, but Chris did make these bizarre jokes about Jimmy being female, making him incredibly uncomfortable.
Oh my god, Jimmy, look, they drew you.
If you look at this, this is not even a good argument. This video serves zero argument whatsoever, but for some reason to the internet, everyone was like, oh, look at Jimmy's face. This now proves he really does hate Chris. It's like, no. This is just a moment he was caught off guard. Look at it. He's dialed into this. He probably didn't know what was going on, and he realized last second. So, haven't you ever been spaced out before? It's like, I hate the narrative that people have to easily turn just because of a 5-second moment. Watch this.
Jimmy, they drew you so well. It looks just like you.
Oh, yes.
People are like, oh man, Jimmy's all full of pain there. Oh man, Jimmy's going to hate Chris one of these days. It's like, no. That's what you're going to use to spin that?
Oh my god, it's Jimmy.
How did fan art? This is what we were looking for. Be brave, be honest, be kind. Mr. Beast. That is my tagline.
Becoming even weirder when each member started to pay each other compliments.
Hey, nice shirt. Thanks, dude. Nice shirt.
Hey, nice shirt.
Thanks, dude. Nice shirt.
Thanks. Nice shirt.
Nice shoes.
For the most part, the live stream was devoid of awkward moments. However, it would act as fodder for another 100 million views worth of drama and criticism. Chris likely believes that people will slowly adapt to his new appearance over time.
It's so insane to me still that this is being called drama. It's called someone making the transition, someone taking HRT. It's like, this is not new. This is not new by any means. This is a very normal situation, and it's crazy that it's been people that are trans constantly are walking around having their defense up because of people on the internet that have to fight them over it. It's so dumb.
But is this really going to happen? Well, maybe. It's difficult to say as the situation is fairly unique, especially when considering Chris's reputation and influence. However, if Chris continues to transition, would it be unreasonable to say that he could jeopardize some of the personality traits which made him a successful member in the first place?
Oh my god, and this was the point of the video where I really thought Sunny V2 messed it up for everything. Right here, how the hell would someone making the transition totally change everything for Mr. Beast? What kind of weirdo narrative is that? There's no shot. There's not even a single chance.
And he'll instead pick up new personality traits that better resonate with the current Mr. Beast audience. This was put forward in many comments supportive of Chris, who implied that there'll be millions of queer kids who look up to him, although...
Yes, that is exactly what will happen. That will happen, exactly.
This doesn't necessarily mean that it'll add any value to the videos.
Huh? This doesn't mean to add any value to the videos. Hey, what?
Mr. Beast has likely cultivated a massive LGBT audience, all of whom are already watching anyway, and if we've learned anything from Hollywood in recent years, it's that adding over-the-top LGBT characters for the sake of relatability rarely works as intended, and is often nothing more than a distraction from the premise of the movie or video. On top of this, it can be uncomfortable and unrelatable for the silent majority, although as we have seen, a situation like Chris's does have the potential to create an otherworldly amount of discussion, which could be seen as a benefit for the Mr. Beast brand.
Drama is good for growth, 100%. That would be an easy way to up my
So
views
you're
if
a
I got it.
Keemstar?
Bro.
The problem is this type of situation is probably the last thing that Mr. Beast wants to attract, as he's forced to agree with Chris's position, as he has no way of manipulating the...
Dude, he's not forced. That's just... How does someone who doesn't even know Mr. Beast come here and go, oh man, I think Mr. Beast is going to have to make a decision? It's like, no. This is his best friend. What are you talking about?
The situation without being painted as the bad guy. It's a lose-lose situation for Mr. Beast. I think Jimmy is in an inescapable situation. If he kicks out Chris, cancelled. If he don't, his channel will die for real.
Yeah, because that sounds like a really good take from PSX and MSM with no PFP.
An inescapable situation is a pretty good way of describing the drama, which is also why it deserves the harsh label of being a nightmare. Jimmy has no option but to publicly express acceptance of Chris's transition, as silence or even worse, disapproval would come with obvious severe repercussions. However, in accepting Chris's transition, Jimmy implies that this will be the new normal within the content, thus annoying a different group of people, many of whom will never express their true feelings and may rather simply click on fewer Mr. Beast videos.
This video should be called Why Sunny V2 Will Be a Nightmare for Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast already commented back on this video and defended himself and said, no, Chris is my best friend in a Twitter post, so this video is terrible, dude.
As removing Chris from the videos in any kind of way could create an even more severe media firestorm.
But nobody said he's gonna remove Chris. Nobody said that. So why would you even begin to think that?
Solution, should things go south, might be for Chris to resign himself, and even then rumors and bad press will be unavoidable. Whether it be arrogance or ignorance, Chris seems oblivious to how this whole thing might impact Jimmy, forgetting that he achieved his current level of success by avoiding this exact type of drama.
There's no drama, my god. Third time talking about this will be drama. This is not drama. This is a very normal situation. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I might have to take a break from Sunny V2 videos for a while. Not to be dramatic, but probably one of the worst Sunny V2 videos of all time. You know, being trans is perfectly normal. Just sucks that people got to have their guards up as trans people all the time, and especially on the internet. People like Sunny V2 making narratives like this and many other situations. So, hope the best for Chris, and if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.